Welcome back to another episode of The Road to Reinvention. Today, I want to talk about how failure is just an option. It is not an identity. Like you, I grapple with fear and shame and failure. I've been winning since I could remember and collecting gold stars since kindergarten when teachers were sticking them on my chart to track my progress. I don't know if it's just an American thing, but the idea that our lives must be defined by how many accomplishments and accolades we can acquire as quickly as possible seems as though the significance we place on those things in the past and even today are limiting. They're limiting and shaping every single thing related to our humanness and what we're able to achieve. For some of us, our lives come down to impressing people. I think that's very true, especially when we look across the lens of social media. We choose the right schools, we choose the right jobs, the right fitness fad, the right hair, the right shoes, all of these things to demonstrate our value as well as our worth. We feed into it often. I feed into it often. I did the right things. I bought the right hair. And even attempted to build the right, smart, and impressive business. Our culture teaches us that we are rewarded when we win and shamed when we fail. It means perhaps we didn't focus enough. Maybe we didn't work hard enough or want it bad enough. Or we didn't have the intellectual capability or even the necessary funding to see great success. We didn't build that billion-dollar business in our dorm rooms in college, or get married before the age of 30, or buy the penthouse, or get the 7-figure influencer deal. So we're regulated to go into hiding, or living a subpar life because we didn't manifest our dreams to the heavens. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that this model of thinking is flawed. It's absurd, and it's deeply unkind and ruthless when we only feel validated through a series of external achievements. So what's humbled me recently is spending more time with my people, friends and family members, and particularly elders who are proud of me, but don't give me space or love because of my resume. I think about how I spend time with my grandparents in Arizona. And I remember just one weekend, they fussed over me, made me breakfast, wanted to make sure my bedroom or my bed in the guest room was comfortable, took me on walks to see their new neighborhood, and we ate at the Cheesecake Factory and just really spent time visiting. I think about how great it felt to not have to be impressive. And I had to sit with that and not make it a competition about how I can demonstrate even my level of care because I want to get the gold star for being a great granddaughter. Even that in my mind, I had to grapple with, like, why is everything a competition? A few years back, I had a therapist I used to work with, and she'd always talk about being in a state of allowing, Sherell. It was always this like, be in a state of allowing. And I used to be like, girl, I'm gonna allow you to get off of my line because I am so tired of this. And it was really her answer to everything. And I'd get so frustrated. And it was like, but I can control this, but like, I can achieve this. Like, letting things fly is for suckers. Like, it's for losers. Like, of course I'm going to plan. Of course I'm going to be in control. And an in control person in my mind was a person that has a deep sense of knowing what they want. They get those early successes. They live above the game that's played around us. They don't follow the rule book. So they get to design this extraordinary life for themselves and for their families that really is a reflection of the work they put in that others didn't. So how exactly am I supposed to allow? Not in a country where there are no social safety nets and the zip code that you can afford to live in directly impacts your path, your health, what school your children go to, and how your experience of a quality life is either enjoyable or riddled with poverty. So eventually I let that therapist go. But her statement, it always stuck with me. I've had lots of failures during the years. Failed businesses, failed relationships, failed friendships, and failed versions of myself I couldn't sustain because they weren't true to me. Reinvention for me is all about letting go of the past versions of yourself, your life, your circumstances that must die off so that your new butterfly skin can emerge. Failure, I'm learning now, is truly about freedom. Sometimes things must die to bring you relief and peace and move you out of your comfort zone and onto something better that can only be reached once you've let go of the thing. Maybe it's letting go of that business or that relationship, that idea, maybe those thinking models that are no longer serving you, and those habits and behaviors that are now obsolete. Sometimes we need that hard reset and that pivot. And I understand it's hard to let go and let things fail, believe me. I've held onto things much longer than needed, like those pair of gauchos from college that will never come back in style, but clearly I did not get the memo. What I've learned is that failure means I'm actively learning something new. I learn how to approach the problem better the next time. I study the post-mortem for what I can do better the next time. I learn better tactics and tools in my relationships to be a better partner or a better leader. I am not a failure. I do not assign nor ascribe an identity to myself around what went wrong or what was wrong with me. And once I've let the sting of these circumstances wear off, I reflect and I learn and I go back into creation mode because Gold Star Sherell knows that she's done great things in the past and will continue to do great things. And Gold Star Sherell knows that she is loved and worthy and rooted in the mindset that I belong in every room and that I'm able to take advantage of every aligned opportunity. If you're grappling with how failure has stripped you of who you are, I'd like you to take a second to just pause. Write out what you did well. Write out what went well. Write out who you are, who you love, how you showed up for yourself and for others and within society. And seriously, don't just listen or watch this episode and not take the time to do this exercise. I promise you it will not take long. Throw on some music if you need it. Whatever puts you into a space of reflection, and start to list in as many ways as possible how you have demonstrated your absolute and unequivocal genius. And then, next part of the assignment, friends, is to write down 3 things you get to do now that you have the space and freedom to pivot. Write down those 3 things that you desire to do based on what you've learned about yourself and how you now think because of what you've learned. You are under no obligation to share those 3 things with me, but I do hope you share a bit more about maybe how this exercise has helped you to think more so about what you learned from failure versus making it your identity. So again, I want to connect with you all. I'm on Instagram. I'm all over the internet. And you can also go to my website at sherelldorsey.com and sign up for my newsletter. And you can email me. I want to hear again how you are taking and redefining this idea of failure as an identity and truly owning your learning experience to become that next version of yourself, that next reinvention of yourself. I'll catch you in the next episode.